Good evening, folks.
Good evening, Doctor.
Oh, all right. I believe you are doing fine this evening, and you are enjoying your time, and for you being in a online lecture. Now, I was checking the names of individuals who are logging in to check the names of my students, and actually to count the number. We are now 42 students, so at least we may get started. My intention is at least if we get 50, we could start. But as time keep on going, we are behind the time, so we may get started by this time. So yesterday, you ended up discussing the issue of concept note. And maybe you went through in detail to examine what is concept note and why concept note is important from professionalism in managing project. Why should it be necessary for you to prepare a concept note, and what is the uses of concept notes, and how concept note look like? Yes, I understand. We might be sharing in the next period. We will share some examples of concept note and how it is being written. So that will go like a case study, but at the end of the day, everybody will have his own concept note drawn by himself based on his example by himself. The concept note is the basis for you to start communicating with different stakeholders, different people. And if you are looking for finance, that is a strategic ignition point, a strategic kickoff point for you to say you have something that needs to be taken in consideration for execution. So you will realize that concept note is very important. So I'm being told you have covered this one, and you covered by yesterday. So if you covered yesterday, it means it's only that when we meet again on Monday, or maybe Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, what we will do is we will have some times to go and discuss together again on the concept note. So we will discuss, because it is also very important for you to know for a given period of time. As we keep on going, you will also have some, every day we will have assignment. Every day we will have assignment. So you don't have a way to run out from this. The big assignment you will submit through the Moodle, but these other small assignment you will have to submit through my number that I have given you. So I'm still counting your assignment as part of the assessment that I will record. So I may pick any documents for recording when necessary, and you should be preparing for it. But do you have a question before we go to feasibility study regarding concept note? Albert? Albert Charlie? Yes.
Any questions, sir? You may proceed.
Okay. Renard? David? Do you have any question? Renard? Renard? Renard?
I have no, sir. I'm okay.
Are you okay? Good.
Yes,
good.
Sir.
Good. Engineer Twaha, are you okay with the concept note? Twaha, Engineer Twaha.
Yes, doctor, I hear you.
Are you okay with the concept note you discussed yesterday?
Yes, doctor, I'm okay. Can you proceed?
Okay. Good. Renato Simukasa.
Yes, doctor.
Yes.
I'm comfortable with the yesterday lecture and I'm conversant with it, so I'm okay. We can proceed, doctor.
Good. Honest. 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 Okay.
Okay, sir.
It's okay. Good.
Yeah.
I also said if you have some time, please appear in a video so that I should get to know you. You are my students, so I need to know my students. I need to know my students. So you need to appear through video. Kiaro Tendau. I want to see. It's a good name, but who is it, Kiaro? Can you appear through video? Kiaro Tendau?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Can you appear through video?
Yes, I can. You see me now?
Okay. 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 Okay.
You see me?
Good. Spania Magati. Spania Magati. Spania Magati.
Yes, sir.
Can I see you through video?
Yes.
Okay. Restuta Limbe. Can I see you? Restuta? Can I see you, Restuta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. At least some people are good and I can see them. Others are running away. So you should not run away. You should be active. You should be active with a high level of discipline. That's very important. So I say we will go back next week and go back to the concept notes. I will give you a case study, and part of that you shall have some a question to respond to it. So it's also very important. Now, regarding feasibility study, but there are two options that you may find in a project that can be undertaken. A good professional, first of all, a good professional must know on how to prepare a good concept note. With this one, you can submit to any person, but you must have intelligence to sniff as if this person can, or maybe this organization can fund you. You must find some prior information. So this is when you have concept notes. So with the concept notes, you may start discussing with other people and writing, making appointments, visiting, maybe if it is a profit making, you'll have to visit the commercial banks and the other authorities that are available to provide you with funding. And also you may find a way to discuss with your partners on funding sources. So a discussion point will be the concept note. So the concept note must be prepared and supported with a good covering letter, a very good covering letter, written very professionally in such a way it makes sense to introduce your concept. You write in a very professional way. That's very important. So, yes, Nelson, I wanted to remove you I wanted to remove you from the lecture. But today I'm sensitive. I will not talk. You will just find yourself being removed in a class if you're making noise. Now, so depending on the direction of the project, you may pursue. If it is a commercial, you will have to carry out a feasibility study. If it is a non-commercial, you will have to undertake the needs assessment. You assess the need. You assess the need. You don't assess whether it is a feasible. Feasibility study is applicable to profit-making projects or business projects. So you want to get a point of accepting or rejecting the project, but you know it is different. When you assess the need, you cannot reject, but you invest on the need where you find it is demand driven. Then you say there's no way government has to construct a bridge that will connect these people. So in that mentality, then you will say you have to conduct feasibility study. And it is also based on the it is also based on the concept note. So the concept note will have to define the direction. Is this commercial or this is not commercial? So it is important. It is important. It is important. So that's why we say feasibility study. And many people, when they hear feasibility, they fear. This is common. They fear. You cannot run a project without looking at the feasibility, whether it's feasible or not feasible. So you will need to be sensitive about that. So with the feasibility in a real world, many people fear when they hear this word feasibility study, but this is very simple. It's very simple. Why? It's related to a business-related activity, and the only thing is that many people are trying to complicate the issue of feasibility. So as if it is something very difficult to be undertaken, but this is simple. You only need to go out in the field, identify the actual costs, determine the revenue, and establish profitability, and also examine whether there are returns or no returns. Now, if there is no returns, then what do you say? If there are returns, what should be the direction? Because before you commit large sum of money, many organizations must conduct feasibility to examine whether they may implement. Just imagine, we have bigger projects that are going on in the country, like right now. Which projects are big one in the country right now? Which project are big one? Let me get a point.
Study.
Which project are bigger one? Yes.
Yala.
Mwalimu Nyerere hydropower.
Hydro. Let me write right here. We have the hydro projects. Hydro projects. Now, hydro project, another one.
Standard gauge railway, SGR.
SGR, very good. Very good. SGR. Yes, Simbeye. Oh,
I
Felicia?
wanted to say,
Yes. Simbeye.
I wanted to try to say 100 years, 100 years.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, Felicia?
We have this East African pipeline.
Very good. So the EAC pipeline. Okay. Another project that you find is bigger one that are going on in the country? Restuta, Limbe?
Construction of, yes, sir.
Yes.
Construction of Kigongo Ferry.
Ferry.
Bridge.
Oh, very good. Ferry. Yeah. Ferry project, is it?
Yes.
Ferry. Kigogo.
Kigongo.
Kigongo Ferry.
Bridge.
Bridge.
Yes.
Ferry. Bridge. Bridge. Okay, my spelling right here. Yes, another one.
DP World.
DP?
What about DP World? DP Port Cons.
Building a better tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, Irongo. Yes. Adrian
Msalato
Irongo.
International Airport.
International
Msalato
Consalato.
International Airport. Msalato International Airport.
Msalato. Very good. Msalato. Msalato International Airport. Now, airport. Now, let me tell you. These are bigger projects, but they were not formed by God, or maybe, no, it was people like you. It was people like you. They were just sitting in a simple mind, and someone said, let us have hydro projects from the idea, you know, from the concept note. So when you check the hydro project by itself, when you read the documentation for hydro project, there must be a concept note. It will tell you who is the founder of the idea. Who is the founder of the idea? Who is the founder of the idea? Who is the founder of the idea for hydro projects?
The late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Did you read somewhere? So, of course, there must be a technical person who dreamed about the hydro. There must be someone who prepared the concept note. And this person might not be known and is not there, but this is the person who gave the idea to Mwalimu and say, Mwalimu, if you can pursue this idea, this is how Tanzania will look like. Then Mwalimu had to take, because that was commander-in-chief, so he could respond. You understand? But there is someone called Restuta who is not known, who pioneered the idea, and he found that this is feasible, this can be done, this can rescue this country from from electricity problem, it will help. Electricity is going to be cheaper. So much analysis. Nyerere was just a leader to pick the idea, but he was part of the dream. Was part of the dream. So you can do your homework. You can find out who was, but sometimes they are not written. So you may find the original concept note is not there. People have forgotten. It has taken a long time ago. So you need to find out. The same applied to SGR. Who prepared the concept note for SGR? But remember, this bigger project could not happen if someone could not prepare the concept note. If the concept note, if you don't have people who can write down on a piece of paper and influence others, things will not happen. So we need people. We need people who are going to be generals in projects. We need people who are going to be strategists for projects to realize bigger projects like hydro project, the standard gauge, the EAC pipelines, the ferry bridge, the Msalato International Airport, and so on. Msalato International Airport could not be there if someone was not there to initiate. So it is someone like you. It is someone like Isinto who came up with the idea and say, now we can have Msalato International Airport because here we find this is the nice place. And the people in Dodoma are facing with the maybe poor international airport, but we don't have international airport in Dodoma. So we need to have one. How is that going to be? You see, so we need the people. We need the people. You are general for projects. You are general for projects. You will set up this project, you go to another project. You will innovate another project, you go to another project. You'll be feeding people with meals. You'll be feeding people with meals. You are the dreamer. You are the planner. You set a project, you go. Another place, you initiate. You set a project, you hire people, you go. You got another place, you set a project, you go. Just like that. You are professional in problem solving. So, hydro project. Is a hydro project a profit making or non-profit making? Diana, is a hydro project, Mwalimu Nyerere hydro project, is it a profit making or non-profit making project? Dennis Kweka. Okay, people are. Yes.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, is it a profit making or non-profit making?
Yeah, the hydro project, it is a profit making project because the idea is first of all is to make sure that there is enough electricity, but at the same time people will afford to get with a cheaper price, and at the later on maybe the focus is also to generate things like small industry. So it is a profit because people will use that for generating different small activities in different industries.
Very good, Dennis. It's a profit making. It aims at making sure that we produce affordable electricity And therefore, but the cost should be feasible from the point of society. It should be feasible as compared to this time. So that's why we say this is going to be feasible. But they will have, the people will have to pay through taxes. You see, people will pay through taxes and so on to contribute towards the same. So it is profitable, and you must draw a line for feasibility. So if you are working towards that direction, you need to discover, you need to maneuver a bigger project like that one, for your nation. If not for your nation, but it might be at the place where you are working, discover one project that you find is going to bring impact to your organization. You need to discover that one. Which one? Have you ever done any projects at the place where you're working to assist the society? If you have not yet done, but it is high time for you to start looking at that direction. Think about those who initiated standard gauge railway line. Think about those who initiated East African community pipelines. There is a lot of communication that goes through, because at the end of the day, when you start a dream, people will not understand there between. People will not understand. It will be like a game. So you, as a professional in project management, understand you are the generals. You are the generals for projects. You need to carry a flag for projects. Whenever you do, stay focused. Let nobody to kick you out of that line. You see, so it is very important. Now, if you know the direction, if you know the direction from the concept note, depending on the conversations, you'll be having series of conversations for discussions. You up and down, securing funding, meetings, making decisions, and informing authorities, securing approval, getting endorsement, and so on. All these will happen at the concept. Now, once concept has been accepted, whether it's a profitable making or it is a non-profit making, then it is where now you will find you needed to go for either feasibility study or needs assessment. But for this case, feasibility study. It is for those projects that are feasible. This is, as I said, you should not fear. Many people are trying to complicate the issue of feasibility study. They say maybe it is very difficult, you see, but this is not difficult. That is not difficult. That's not difficult. Twaha, you have been talking. I wanted to remove you, but it's only that you have been active participants. But I wanted to remove you, so I'm not removing you. But make sure you mute yourself, Twaha. I counsel you for that line. So feasibility study, people are trying to complicate the business of feasibility study. What you need to do is the actual going to the field and assessing the situation and write actually what you see from the field. So you will have a summary of the situation analysis to examine that. The concept is important to project manager as it provides a clear way for decision regarding a project. So it is important for the public project, non-profit making projects, profit making projects, and so on. It's very important. It's very important. And so long as you are going to do that, for people working in the government, it is necessary. Even if you want to do your own business, it is important. You cannot use a feasibility study to secure donor funding, but in some cases they require it. You may not submit this to the banks. In some cases, some other banks, they require it. But this will give you the baseline to estimate, to know the actual cost, actual revenues that are anticipated to be generated at the end of the day that will bring returns to the business or to the business project. Now, feasibility study is used to assess whether the proposed project is worth it to undertake or not worth. So that's why you needed to go out and assess. So you move from the concept note. You now go deeper to make a decision. Is it worthwhile for you to undertake this, or is not worthwhile for you to undertake? So you will carry the feasibility study. Feasibility study is designed to provide an overview of the primary uses related to commercial business project. So most of the time, you will assess, you will determine the viability of the idea. Is the idea, is the concept note viable or not viable? So when you prepare a concept note, in actual sense, you will be requesting more stages of feasibility study to be undertaken. So in one of your components of the concept notes is the request for you to carry out more detail regarding feasibility study. That will sound good from professionalism. So with this one, you'll have to assess the legal issues, you'll have to assess the technical issues, you'll have to assess the social issues, you'll have to assess all the economic issues and so on. So the purpose is to identify, or sometimes to make, if there's any break that will prevent the project from being successful in the marketplace. And therefore, we assess, is this idea worthwhile for you to continue? Or maybe this idea is not worthwhile for you to continue. So when you do feasibility study, we'll give you much information on whether to begin with more advanced planning. And then once that one is done, you can say, now let me prepare project write-ups. So you cannot, before you prepare your write-up fully, you need to carry out a feasibility study. You need to go out and look at whether it is feasible or not feasible. Yes, Nathaniel, Liza? Liza? Nathaniel, Liza? Nathaniel, Liza? Oh, we can't hear you. Unmute yourself. I'm trying to unmute you right here, but again, I cannot. I don't know what happened. So for project managers, what should be the role of project manager? For this case, leaders or project managers involved in carrying out feasibility must get out to the field. Don't allow feasibility study to be undertaken on desk. No, you must go out. Engineers must get out to assess the environment. When preparing, you must be aware. So you should, just like Chinese, before Chinese comes and secure tender in Africa, in Tanzania, they come right here, they assess the situation. They will use agents. The agents can be people like Quaker, will be agents for Chinese. They will provide economic intelligence information that, constructing the hotel right here, this is the situation. So they will supply all the information. So by the time when they launch the application, they find they have full information regarding the operation of the project. So managers' roles is to understand feasible cost that must be identified. So this is the role of the manager. Manager must know. When you are project manager, you must always know the cost, and the cost becomes sensitive to you. If you cannot understand the cost, you are in trouble as a manager. As a manager, you must pin down cost. So exactly, you should understand the cost being involved in a project. So so that during implementation, you know you can pin them down. So it's important, project manager to, yes, Twaha, engineer Twaha.
Yes, doctor.
Yes, welcome.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, doctor. When we talk about visibility study, say the purpose is to determine whether the project worth to undertake or not. So when we talk about worth, it means we mean payback period of the project or not. Thank you.
Very good. There are so many criteria that we will use when we are talking about worthwhile projects. Worthwhile. This is worthwhile from the financial point of view. Yes, to break down, to break whether to implement or not to implement is after knowing the returns. Now, how do you know the returns? Is you can use NPV, you can use internal rate of return, you can use the accounting rate of return, you can use the profitability index, you can use the payback period, and others the like that will be happening. So you can use those ones. But again, there are others that we will discuss when we talk about appraisals in the project. We will discuss. We'll discuss much in detail about this. There are others that you'll find it require proper analysis, like a bridge. What do you say? A bridge. How are you going to justify? Is it feasible for you to construct a bridge at a ferry, or ferry bridge? So these are questions that will be happening. But so long as it has some elements of profitability, we must assess. So which criteria you use? Either use payback period, but for bigger projects, you cannot use payback period, my friend. You'll have to use net present values or internal rate of returns, you see, and others that are very commonly used by the people. But again, we will discuss much when we talk about project appraisal issues. So for managers, is that okay to have?
Thank you, doctor. I'm okay. Thank you.
All right. So manager must know cost. Always. Cost should be, then by you knowing the cost, you should be going to the field. So you must go to the field. You know, like nowadays, you find why we are so much behind in terms of infrastructure development and so on. You'll find the engineers, they're just participating in a WhatsApp from morning to evening. But their work, they're engineers, they need to assess roads, but they are working within the local government. So they need to get out before the community complain. They need to assess the situation. They need to make sure they are generous, making sure that they can take control of the cities, making sure that the citizens are living in a better standard of living. So you'll find when you move in town, you will see when you move in big cities, when you go to Manzese, you will see how Manzese look like. When you come to big cities like Arusha, you'll also see the type of road that we have. It seems those engineers, they are not assessing the situation. There is no link between their role and also in supporting development. So they need to get out from the office. They should be visiting field all the time to examine the situation. Not someone giving you details, but you need to know what are the costs. These people need road construction. These people need dispensary. You have to get out. As a manager, what will be the year zero cost? This is very sensitive for negotiations. If you know the year zero, you'll be in a better position to negotiate about interest rate. If you know at year zero construction, at year zero school construction, at year zero university construction, you can be very good leader in negotiating the interest rate. It is where now you can say these are the costs, but we will start paying the principal and the interest rate after 1 year. So you have to make sure year zero, these are the components for the year zero. Nyamizi Jafet. Nyamizi Jafet.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yes.
I have 1 or 2 questions.
Good.
The first one, if I'm doing a donor project, that means I'm not intending any kind of profit. Does it also include doing a feasibility study after the concept note is accepted?
No. If you are doing a donor-related project, you will do what is called needs assessment. You assess the need. But, if you are going to have elements of profitability within your project, you will need to be very careful. So it will be a mixed-up approach. It will be a mixed-up approach. So you will need to understand, is it feasible? In some cases, donors require elements of sustainability. How you will sustain yourself by the time when a donor pulls out. These are some of the questions that you find you'll always have. So if you introduce elements of sustainability within, where you will start generating, then you'll speak of sustainability. You'll speak of feasibility study. But if it is 100% donor funded, no, you go straight to the so-called needs assessment. This is similar to the government. If the government is doing 100% financing the government, no, you go for needs assessment. So you assess the need, whether there are profit or there are losses, you will still invest. Yes, Felicia. Nyamaze, is that okay?
Yeah, and I have a second question, sir. Sorry.
The second question, okay, no problem.
Yeah, I want to understand more on the phase of profit making. If it does not provide profit to the donors or the project implementers, what about if it makes profit to the beneficiaries? How do we count it?
It means it is outside the control of the donor. Yeah. Donors will not be interested. You have to run it by yourself. You'll have to run by yourself, but who will finance? That will be a difficult question for yourself again. Who will finance?
I mean, the donors have funded it, but it does not provide the direct profit to them. Rather, it provides benefits to the beneficiaries.
That's okay.
Maybe through creating of entrepreneurship opportunities. Then at the end of the results, the beneficiaries start to make profit.
That's very much okay. That's very much okay. That's very much okay. Depending on the project charter that you are going to establish. It will tell you, because you'll have to prepare write-up. Remember, feasibility study is not the write-up, but the write-up is based on the feasibility study or the needs assessment, depending on the routes. So with this one, what you are saying, it should be okay. It should be okay. I participated one of the meeting, especially in the past two weeks, and I realized that there were some young people again from the same country in Tanzania. Some of them got about 700 million. 700 million. Another young boy with a bachelor degree got about 550 million just by presenting to donors. But again, you know, it's very interesting if you know project management and how to deal with the donors. You'll get funding. You'll get funding. You'll get funding. So the terms of reference will define. The terms of reference will define, and these will be incorporated in your proposal when you are talking about the funding process. Is that okay?
Yeah, thank you, sir.
All right. Yes. Felician, Andrew?
Yes, Doctor. Thank you so much for good clarification on issues. But I have only one question. You said that, as I have read, conducted when the project is commercial. But I was having this tough situation here when you continue to explain to us that we should always account costs pertaining these projects. But what happens when some of the costs cannot be countable in monetary values, but they just happen to be the costs which are, you measure them in monetary terms? How can we account them in such particular feasibility study?
Oh,
Thank
yeah. You need to account all the costs. Those that you cannot account in terms of monetary value, you need to set the monetary value by yourself, because these are the costs that at the end of the day, they may cause variation in your projects. You may not see now, but tomorrow you will see it. So you need to account, and you need to check this is feasible. There are some costs that can be borne by the taxpayers. You need to understand, when you introduce taxes, is that going to be feasible? Look here, we said this one thing. We said this. You are talking of bigger projects like hydro. You're talking of standard gauge. You're talking of EAC pipeline. Those are huge projects, you see. So you need to measure all the costs. You need to measure all the costs. Clarify at the beginning. Get some times to assess where the pipeline will be passing. You do not just sit on the table and you start writing. No, we don't do that. We don't do that, folks. We don't do that. I'm sorry. We don't do that. So you account for all the cost that will be involved during the project execution. So you as a project manager, you must have that capacity. That capacity. You know, there is one thing I will tell you. Why many engineers fail? This is I will keep on giving you the example. Why many engineers fail? They cannot account for all the costs. Engineer estimates are based from books. So they pick the estimates of their BOQ that are derived from the estimates. And these estimates are based from the AQRB. But we say, when you assess those costs are not feasible, because these people, they don't go to the field. You see, I think Engineer Twaha and others can understand what I'm talking about. So when you assess engineers estimates for constructions of buildings, they don't go to the field to establish the actual cost. They don't go to the field. They just sit in their building and they wear a tie like me, and they estimate based on that. So this is the challenge. And it's a big challenge in this country. It's a big challenge. They need to go to the field, examine the cost of labor, and they put the actual cost of labor. You see, like with us, we are participating in construction, but we are paying 10,000 as labor cost per person. But for engineers, when they give you labor cost estimate, they may say it is 40,000 or 35,000. as a market value. So for you as a project manager, we say you must be different. Your cost, you must go to the field. You must assess. You must measure. You must exactly measure. Even if somebody has computed for you as a manager, you must go to the field. You must assess by yourself. And you must be conversant. And you must own those costs because you'll be responsible in making payments. You'll be responsible in making payments. It should not come to the point to say, with these costs, I didn't know. So you see, that's the challenge. You'll find so many projects are going with the variations is just because of those kind of things. Tendeu?
Yes. So my first question is, I just wanted to know if there are differences between situation analysis and feasibility study. And I also get some little confusion, especially on the issue of feasibility, because you said feasibility can only be done in profit-making projects, but when it comes to non-profit-making projects, it's a needs assessment. Now, what happens if you are constructing a dam? What kind of feasibility that is being applied in before constructing a dam?
Very good. When you are constructing a dam, let me say right here, dam construction. This one. Now, is the dam construction, is it for profit making or non-profit making? That is question number one. That's question number one. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Is this a profit making or non-profit making? Now,
yes,
depending on the direction. But if it is going to be a profit-making activity, you must take the route of feasibility. Is it feasible if we do? How much profit are we going to get? How much income are we going to get? But you can also say, in terms of feasibility, is it feasible for us to establish? That's different notion. You understand what we mean right here? So for you,
yes.
If you are establishing a dam project, now you set your dam project, you want the society to do irrigation, to conserve rainwater. But if you produce the electricity, that is going to be a business, and that's the direction. But you will have multiplier effect within the dam construction, and that's going to be a different one. So if it's not a profit making, if it is a profit making, you'll focus for the need. These people need rainwater harvest. So people will do fishing. People like when you go to Morogoro, you know Morogoro, where is it? There is Mindu project, dam project. I think you know about that, is it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Now, right there, they don't produce electricity, but they are collecting water and feeding the whole of Morogoro. That is the purpose. So is that a business or is not a business? Now it will depend on the person who discovered the concept note and the direction you are taking. The focus. The general's focus. When I say the general focus, I mean the strategist. The strategist focus. Yeah. Mukasa. Mukasa, unmute yourself.
Hello, Doctor.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much for your clarification. And I wanted to know when we are dealing with the establishment of the costs, and if I understand, I heard you saying that we have to establish all the costs associated with the implementation of the project at the beginning.
Yes.
So my question is, when establishing these costs, are we taking the current market price costs, or include also the forecasted cost for maybe for technology and the other materials? That is number one.
Okay.
Number two, how do we take into account the cost associated with mitigating of the unforeseen aspects? For instance, mitigation cost associated with the mitigation measures on the risks associated with the project. Thank you.
Very good. So with the cost associated with, of course, in terms of cost, you will take the market price, but the market price you'll get it from the field, not from books. Yes, that's very wrong, because we want the manager to go to the field and ask what is happening. Okay, now you will make assumptions. All managers are working under assumptions, because estimate is based on the assumptions that you have to make at the end of the day. So you can make contingency again. Any unforeseen events, you can make contingency in your plans. So it's very important consideration for yourself. Is that okay?
It's okay, Doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Nampunju. Petro.
All right. Thanks, Doctor. Yes, thanks, Doctor.
Yes.
My question might look similar to what Mukasa has asked.
Okay. Thank you.
To know, is there any time frame in relation to the time feasibility study is completed versus the actual time when the project will run, under the assumption that it might happen, maybe, for instance, we do feasibility studies this year, then the project implementation comes maybe after 3 years later. Then that means there might be maybe some inflation, there might be some in terms of
yes,
cost.
of course,
so how
of course.
How encounter that?
Yes, contingency. You have contingency to be taken into account. But when to start feasibility study must be defined within the concept note, because everything regarding when to start about feasibility study, it should be documented in the concept note. If it's not documented properly, people will just do feasibility study when the idea is phased out. So we are running shortage of time. We are running shortage of idea. And in government, you realize that at the end of the day, many people delay in implementing projects. And this is the challenge that people are facing. This is the challenge that people are facing. This is the challenge that people are facing. So you need to be very careful, especially for people who are working in the government. They tend to delay in financing their feasibility study. So the proposal can be laid on the table this year, but the implementation will be maybe after 5 years. That is too late, and it seems we are not serious. So if we are to rescue the nation, project manager, the one who killed the idea, you are the general, so you must be strong enough as to step as a general. You step as general, you implement the project as general. So that is the point that we are talking about right here. Is that okay, Nampunju?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay. Kiaro, you had another question, maybe?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it was about the difference between situation analysis and the feasibility study.
Situation analysis, it will depend. Situation analysis is part of the feasibility study. This is what I can say. You have to go to the field, get the situation, you analyze the situation, but it is part of the feasibility study. You understand? So it's part and parcel of it. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Florence Limo.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Can
how are you?
Please help.
All right. Yes.
Okay.
Welcome.
Can you please help them?
Yes.
The distinction between feasibility study, recognizing survey, and baseline survey.
Okay. Can you speak loud? I hear you because right now I cannot hear you.
Okay, I need to understand a clear distinction between feasibility study,
yes,
recognizing survey, and baseline survey.
Oh, very good, very good. So you have the baseline survey. We have feasibility study. This is just to examine whether this project is worthwhile or not worthwhile. But a baseline survey, it is also part of the feasibility study, but you want to gather information regarding, you are producing the report. At the end of the day, this report will also assist you to carry more analysis regarding the same. It can be part of the feasibility study, but depending on the use of the baseline survey, because there are so many baseline surveys, depending on what you are actually wanting to survey. So the baseline, there are so many reports that you can produce it. There's no single reports for baseline survey. It can be a survey just for survey, like a research. It's part of the baseline survey. So which baseline are you looking at? It will be defined in the terms of reference. But with the feasibility, this is just to go down. You are also surveying, you understand? You are also surveying because you have to go and check for the situation on the ground of what is happening about the cost, about revenue, about returns, and so on. But the use can be different. The baseline survey can it be a general survey? Can it be part of the research that people will go and find out the information that will provide feedback to something that is very important? We together, Limo?
Yes, and what about recognizing survey?
I don't hear you. Hello?
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 I'm saying, and what about recognizing survey?
Yes, I don't hear you about that.
Okay.
I don't hear you. Maybe you can write it for me.
Okay.
You can write it for me, then I will come back to you. Masai?
Okay,
Rogath, Masai?
Yes, Doctor. Good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I have one question.
Okay.
I was asking about the so-called environmental impact assessment for the mega projects, mega construction projects like the hydropower projects or the East Africa Railway, the East Africa Pipeline project. I wanted to know if the environmental impact assessment is part of the feasibility study or is something else.
Oh, very good. When you talk environmental impact assessment, by itself is a component within the feasibility study. Are we together? So environmental impact assessment, there is a chapter specifically that will demonstrate that you have already carried out the environmental assessment, and also the report for environmental impact assessment is also attached. So all the information will be attached there within. Is that okay?
Okay, is it so it is part of feasibility study?
Yes, it is part of it. It is part of it. It's part of it. Yes. Mohammed? Ahmed, Omar.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for good presentation. I want to ask you one question.
Yes.
So always, if you fail to plan, you are going to plan failure.
Okay.
So transparent and good communication is very important in project
implementation. Yes, that's the role of the project manager. That's the role of the project manager. Not everybody can be like that. Yes.
Okay, so I want to know which kind of stakeholders are not crucial to attend in feasibility study.
Are not crucial.
Which kind of stakeholders? Primary, secondary, external.
No, you have if you wanted to assess about your stakeholders, you need to assess all the stakeholders, and a good project will analyze the all situation, secondary and primary. You have to take into consideration without segregation, but you should understand that these are primary and these are secondary. And why do you say these are secondary? You need to make analysis by yourself during the feasibility study.
All of them must to attend in feasibility study assessment.
Yeah. Depending on the type of project, it is even feasibility study. You will need to identify your customers, your stakeholders. So it is important you know them and you make analysis about them and understand the strength of each.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Otherwise, your project will be frustrated in future. You'll never implement. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right. Yes, I think let's continue. There are so many people raising up questions. I will give you some times to ask more questions. I will give you some times to ask questions. So let me continue. Teresia, let me mute you. Yes. So what I said, the role of the project manager is to go to the field. If you are dealing with a project, don't entertain to sit in the office. You should always get some time to go to the field. You should always get some time to go to the field. And what will be your role? Another is revenue analysis and projections. So this is the role of the project manager. You'll find project manager making projections about revenue, how and when revenue will start falling, because this one you must be sensitive, and it is where you'll find many people cannot even establish bigger projects like hotels. We have hotels in the national parks, but again, most of these hotels are not belonging to local. Why? Poor projections. Project managers are not capable of projecting properly. And that's why they look at projects and say, hey, I cannot do this project. It is beyond their ability, but it is something that you need to sit down and project by yourself and consult the commercial banks, and the commercial banks will have to provide funding regarding that project based on the request. The project manager has a role to understanding about the pricing structure. So you should know the pricing structure of your products that you want to charge. So you need to know very carefully, and you need to own this at the beginning. It's not good for someone to come and tell you because you are project manager. So you need to also understand financing arrangements and defend if it is for the governments, and you should understand it must be incorporated in the budget, and it must be part of annual procurement plan, and you know how you get funding and when funding will start flowing. All these arrangements you need to know during the feasibility study, so that when you draw you know exactly the fund will start flowing at certain particular date. And also, if you are borrowing money from commercial banks, then you should also understand the terms of reference, the terms of finance. When are you going to start paying the principals, and when are you going to start paying the interest rates, and all those kind of grace periods and the negotiations like is very important for you to make consideration as a manager. And also, is it bankable or not bankable? You need to know who are the possible funders. So manager will look at the project in terms of 5 years to come. You are not looking in terms of short term for 1 year, 2 years. You are short-sighted manager. So you should be looking at your organization for the next 5 years to sustain the organization, to sustain itself for the next 5 years. It's very important. You need also to look at the market price, and also the production of goods must be observed. Market is very important, and it is very central to any feasible project. Is it feasible? We start with the market. Market will give you the information, will give you signal on whether to run or not to run, and you'll establish quantity. How much is the quantity that require for you to maximize profit or not? So it's very important for you to get some times to go to the field, satisfy yourself beyond reasonable doubt, to establish the quantity, to establish the demand, to establish how much you should be able to supply to the market, and be strong on that. You can get some times. So you will establish as a manager, you will establish the demand analysis, and the other projections must be estimated. And also, as a manager, you must know on how the supply of goods and services are going to be drawn. So you must know very carefully how the flow of material, how the supplier will bring about aggregate, how about the supplier will bring about timber, what about the iron bar, and what about the season, the weather, seasonality, and other kind of things that will cause problems during the supply. All these you must analyze very carefully when estimating about your projects. When will the project break even? As a manager, you must know the break-even point, the output to which you may find you are not going to make loss. As a manager, you must know. You must know about this. As a manager, you need to know about manpower and competency. You need to know the manpower and the competency, and how you will empower them during a particular period of time. How you will empower them, you see, how you will empower them. So empowering your people towards competency, you need to forecast the training skills. Others will be trainable and others will not be. So project manager must be accountable for all stages of feasibility without any compromise. So what we say right here, you should never compromise when it comes to feasibility study. Are we together?
Good.
Yes.
Yes, Doctor. Together.
All right. Yes. Simeli Freddy. Can you tell us? Okay. Now, I give you 5 minutes break. 5 minutes break. You can talk, you can share, you can drink water, and do whatever you want right now. 5 minutes break. You are free. Now you can unmute yourself if you want to talk. You can unmute and talk. I give you 5 minutes break. All right. Okay. What you will need to do when you are talking about feasibility study, what are the key issues that you should be doing? There are so many things that we start looking at the feasibility study. One of the thing that you will start looking at, it will depend with what type of project is this one. What type of project is this one? The complexity of the project itself. You know, when you are talking of projects like timber project, maybe farming project, these are simple. But when you talk of dam construction, when you talk of electricity, power generation, like that one of Symbion, you want to set up a big project. Now, you will need more serious. You need to be very serious towards that direction. So you start with this, how many staff that will help you in setting the estimates. So you will need to have people to work with you who will assist you in terms of gathering the information. But again, you will need a bigger team. You may sometimes engage a consultant. And that's why when you read newspapers, you'll find out that there is a lot of consultants who are needed to do the work of feasibility study, to assess whether it is feasible or not feasible. This is for bigger project. For bigger project, you cannot do it by yourself. Project is very complex, so you cannot do. We believe in working in teams, so you have to develop faith on people. Each person has the expertise and skills, but you as a manager, you need to know how you can use other people's towards project management and so on. Engineers are good. You can find engineers are very good in providing you with the structural design, architectural design, and so on, but they are also weak in terms of preparing feasibility reports. They are weak in terms of preparing project write-ups. They are weak in terms of, articulating the way you consider the sources of finance and so on. That is not their concern. No. Yes, that's not their concern. So if you know this is their weakness, so your strength, it should be in terms of making sure that you manage all those weak areas. So you will have a team to engage with and work with them. that will give you full information or support. So in some cases, you may need to announce if you have the terms of reference, TOR, you develop terms of reference, you can get the consultant who will help you to come and do the feasibility study. So you'll find there are different types of feasibility study, of course. There are different types of feasibility study, and of which each component we will discuss. There are technical feasibility studies that analyze the question whether the technology needed for the system exists or is not, how difficult will it be to build that one, and whether the firm has enough experience using that technology. And what about if we add new technology? So this is technical feasibility study. People are doing it. So you may design, depending on the type of the projects that you have, you may find yourself talking that direction of technical feasibility study, depending on the technology. And another one, you can do feasibility study on the schedule. Schedules that involve determining answers to the question, how much time is available to build a new system? When can a new system be built? Would a new system interfere with the normal business operations? And all those kind of, these are feasibility studies relate to schedule. So you schedule. If you want to introduce new system, then that is part of the feasibility. You have another one. This is for cultural feasibility study. Measure the impact of various actions on local general culture. So, another one approach that can come about along with it is the economic feasibility study that used to determine the type of economic impacts. So you're looking at the economic impacts to which the additional or the firm or commodity that will have on a given area. So here you'll find that there are so many. This is economic feasibility study, so there are so many projects alongside that one. So, but again, you may find yourself looking at the legal feasibility study. Is it, how is it, and so on. So, operational feasibility study is used to assess how well the information system will work if implemented in a given environment. So you will have to define the urgency, the needs, the urgency of the projects, and you'll have to define if the project is implemented, will it be successful or not? What about the management support into the projects? How do end user feel about the new system? People tend to resist for change. So that will be part of the operational feasibility study. So there are so many things you will have to encounter in the process, and because people may tend to resist in terms of change. So in terms of defining each kind of management and end user adapt to the changes, these are things that you will have to get. So what is the importance? What is the importance of this one? It improves project teams and focus. That is number one. So you'll have a team, you'll work with a team, and for this case, it will have to make sure that the team improves focus, provide valuable information for go and not to go decision. So whether to do or not to do. So it will give you the information. This is the importance of feasibility study. Again, it narrows the business alternatives. So you can, it will give you different options for the business operation, and identify reasons that are valid to undertake the projects. So you'll have good reasons. Why do you think you should undertake that one? It might be because it is viable project, and it has returns on investments. So it will have to give you the success rate by evaluating multiple parameters. So you'll have so many variables within the projects that you'll be able to evaluate at the end of the day. So again, it gives you a benchmarking for decision making, and it gives you reason for going and not going into the projects. Feasibility study might show that you should go forward with the project, but at a specific period of time. And therefore, conducting a feasibility study, it helps you determine the likelihood and success that can indicate when to do about the projects and so on and so on. Fox, do you have a question regarding what we have said right here? Do you have a question? Honest. Honest.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm good.
Are you okay?
Very clear. Yeah, you're
Rama.
very clear, sir.
Rama. Rama. Yes, Kasim.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, I have a little bit confusions with the related to a point, as you say, the feasibility study might show that you should go forward with the project, but at a specific time. I know that a procedure that a feasibility study has having a specific time, but take into considerations, for example, a public projects or government projects. We heard several times that the procedures, so for example, road construction, times it took 3 to 4 years. So I just wanted the, to be very clear on this. Is that viable, or just something has been violated at the middle of the process? Because if there is no limitations,
with us, we have a political culture of which is not part of the project management. You should understand that one. And in Africa, politics interfere development in many cases. So you, as a project professional, you must position yourself as generals for development. You must position yourself as general for development. Stay focused. There are good people who can understand your concern. If there are good people can understand your concern. So if you stay focused, depending on the documentation, because look here, for construction, you can even start within 3 months, so long as you have the benchmarking, you have the proper documentation. The proper documentation for construction, how long it will take you to develop the architectural design. That's number one. How long it will take you to take structural design. That's number two. How long it will take you to develop services design. Okay. How long it will take you to do the tests, the soil tests. So you see what I mean? You have chain of documentation. How long it will take you to do the environmental impact assessment. All these documentations are part of the feasibility study. Now, if you have good teams, you have a very good team, dedicated team, capable of working 24 hours, you can strike anything in this country that you want. You can do anything to help your nation. But it's only that people tend to entertain politics. Now, I normally, when I go to the field, I normally tell my people, I'm coming to the field, write down minutes. They know it's time for me to question them. Write down minutes, go to the last week minutes, open up the last week minutes. What did we discuss? And now, normally people tend to run away. So if you can believe in working 24 hours, 3 months' time is enough for you to realize construction projects by making sure that all the documentation are properly written. 3 months' time. But you must have a series of negotiations. You negotiate to the management, you negotiate to the board, you negotiate to the ministries, you negotiate to your governors, you negotiate to everybody. Negotiation, 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 negotiation. And this is the role of the project manager, to make proper negotiations all the time and making sure that he can control the temperature, the political temperature, and that one of the intended goals of the projects. So it is common. Many projects take longer time in Africa. It's very common because they say there is no hurry in Africa, but the only people who will change Africa, these are the people who do project management. These are the people who know time management. They don't want to waste time. They cannot waste time. They are sorry because you cannot recover. This year, if it goes with 0, you will never recover again. It will be done, my friend. It will be done. It will be done. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's okay, doctor, and I'm standing firm to send based on the professional area. But for example, I'm a consultant. I have a consultations a company relating to project management. I have been given a task to conduct like a feasibility study on a certain project. And there was, well, you know, the government will be my client at that project for everything based on the payments, budget, and the kind of something of that. So once it comes to that scenarios, we know it's a politics, but it comes to that sense, it's a kind of like a breaking of the bridge, or to fulfill my professional or that project timely will, I think, will be very destructive based on that scenario. However, I agree with you that based on that, it's really professional based areas.
Yes. If you are client, if you are consultant, take care. Just believe in working 24 hours. You can realize anything. Anything. Drop out those who cannot assist you. You should be flexible. You are general. Remember, I've said you are general in project. And these are few in Africa. These are very few in Africa, not many. So we need to produce many general who will come up with so many projects. They will come up with a good number of projects that will assist to address the issue of problems that we are facing. And that's why they say there is no hurry in Africa. There's no hurry in Africa. Why? It's because nobody will speed up for project. But remember, project has commitment in terms of time. So for you as general, you must be serious with the time. You must be serious with the time. Yes, Kasim. Yes. Now, any other comments about that? Any other comments about that? The time, if you have been participating in the projects, how long does it take you to do the feasibility study? Of course, it will depend with the type of project by itself you are doing. If you are consultant doing it, and if you want people, you want to produce a feasibility study, it's not less than 3 months. It's not less than 3 months. This is my experience, not less than 3 months. To produce all those documentations, supporting documentation, the architectural design, the structural design, if it is construction. But for school construction, that's a simple school construction project to assess whether it's viable project or not. Farming projects, that's a simple. 1 month, you can develop feasibility study about farming, milling machines, timber projects, tailoring projects, maybe manufacturing, depending on the complexity of the manufacturing itself. You'll have to define by yourself, but it can take a month to produce that report. But for bigger projects, especially those that relate with construction, road construction, building constructions, not less than 3 months, you'll have to produce a feasibility study. So it is about 3 months, it means 90 days. If you will be able to work 24 hours, you can realize proper documentation for feasibility study related with construction, because it is time consuming producing those documentation. And what about the charges as you will pay to consultant? What about the charges? And some of you have been participating in this, so you will realize that many companies tend to hire consultant. Now, if some of you who are in this class will become a consultant, so you should know if you become consultant, that is not easy. You need to make as a team. You need to understand on how to use expertise to produce, produce good results with a short period of time. That should be the direction. So you need to understand on how to use people who will also assist you, and this will also determine on the type of the project itself you are talking about. What type of project is this one? And that will determine the directions, and so on and so on. Now, what should be the key areas that the feasibility will be looking at? Of course, right here there is environmental, skipped one. Environmental impact. Environmental yes, that is very important. I don't know why I skipped writing right here. So let me say something. When you are doing feasibility study, these are very important areas that you should be looking at. The market analysis. You will define the market. You will go to the field and assess the market. What is the market? What is the situation? What about competition? Is there competition in the area? Which product is highly demanded? Who are the key competitors? Which strategy they use? And so on. So this is more of saying you should undertake the market research analysis regarding the issue. So you will definitely do it. If it is a school, you establish school, but you look at the market, you assess it yourself, which quantity that is highly demanded, at what design and so on. I think you are aware about it when it comes to market need assessment. So you will have to carry out the market assessment. Another area, so in here, you will you will include about the pricing, the price, okay? The price, the selling price and so on. You'll talk about publicity itself, marketing, and so on. You see, publicity. You'll talk about competition, how competitive it is. You see, competition, how competitive it is. You will again talk about if publicity. Of course, it goes hand in hand with advertisement. How others advertising. If you are setting a project that relate with water production, clean water, like this one, the Kilimanjaro, you want to produce bottled water like this one, you need to find which strategy that the same is using. As I said, you will need to produce analysis from year zero up to the lifetime of the projects, up to the lifetime. So you need to estimate that one. Now, if you know the market issue, get much time to satisfy yourself with the market. If you cannot satisfy yourself with the market, you will suggest a project that will never bring returns. If you are assessing the market, for example, you want to assess water, just go to the market and assess what type of bottled water people are using daily. Go to the supermarket, just position yourself and to make research about how many people consume this type of water. You will get information, you make analysis, and which media of communication they use, you will know. Then you will discover the way how this bottle look like and why people they like it. You will discover, and you will know how many competitors are in the place producing the same product like this one. How many competitors are in the place? So all this information must be in the market issues, must be there to analyze the situation and tell us about the market of the consumption trend of the product. And also you will be able to look in terms of the users, the market segmentation, and also the users. Why do you think this product is much more favored to this type of group than the other? You see, all those kind of things. Is there substitutability of the product? So you will have to analyze about that one. The organization, you will need to know how this project will be organized and who will organize the project. You see, you will have to describe from the board point of view, the board point of view, analyze. You have the board of director that is responsible in managing the project, and also you have the director who is also managing in terms of day-to-day running of the project, and the chain of command, the duties and responsibilities, the work plans, schedule of material, and if you put the schedule of material, the duties and the responsibility of each person within the components, and this includes the work breakdown structure defined within that one. This will assist you to tell us how this project is going to be managed, and also you will look in terms of which activity should start and which one should end, and so on. These are among the issues for implementation. The communication chain of command, qualities of the individuals, the competency of the individuals, and so this also must be there. We also have the technical issues right here. With the technical issues, you will talk about the technicality of the project itself. You talk about the technicality of the project itself, and also thereby examining whether the type of technology being applied, you can only find there is no alternative. So you define the technology that is going to be used. Which technology are you going to use, and who will be able to control that technology? Do you have enough technical person? The qualification of the technical persons. What about the alternative technology? Do we have subsidiarity of the technology? What about the issue of maintenance? So then you must produce the technical operation and the specification very properly when it comes to the technical issues. When it comes to production, you must also define the production process, the organization of productions, on how the output will be produced in relation to input. So you will define the input-output relationship there between that will bring about the proper issues. So if you are producing motorbike, you know what will be happening. If you're producing services, maybe you're setting up very complex hospitals, you will have to define which hospital you want to build by yourself and how, and like you can set up a hospital as a project for yourself. Like for India, they have Apollo. This is Apollo Hospital, where many Africans are going to India to get treatment. It is for private individuals. So they discovered, they innovated that with us, no, let's be focused. People should come from all over the world to get treatment in India for Apollo Hospital. So for you, if you are setting up this one, you must define the production of services very properly, and in terms of equipment that will be bought and so on, so that you may start producing services and others related. So that is on production. And what about the production? If you are producing goods and services, what will be the trend of your production? So you produce projections of your output. You produce projection of your output. When it comes to financial issues, of course, you will talk of so many things right here. You will talk of cost. First of all, you will have assumptions. We are operating with assumptions, so you will have assumptions. You will have assumptions to which you will have to get. So each cost has to be specified in terms of match analysis and other related arguments that will justify the cost itself. So you'll need to identify cost at year 0. You need to identify cost at year 1. You need to identify cost at year 2. You need to identify cost at year 3. What are these? These are labor costs. These are material. These are equipments. These are, you see, all these are supposed to be indicated there. You need also to look at revenue. You need to look at revenue. This revenue must be estimated to justify the sustainability of the project itself. So you must sit down and develop this one. And with this one, of course, let me come back to this cost. When I say year 0, this is the year where you find, for bigger projects, where you find you will need to have a grace period. So the grace period, year 0, mainly construction dominates for the projects. Construction dominates. So this is before you start yielding your benefits. So you must be smart, and you are responsible in terms of identifying all these costs that are happening at year 0. It's very important you know early as much as you can. For financial, so you will know the revenue. The revenue is very simple. It's just the price multiply the quantity itself. This will give you a revenue. So the revenue is quite simple. But cost, you need also, let me come back right here. You need also to know what are the total costs. Total cost. You see, you will need to know, apart from total cost, total fixed cost. You need to know these are total fixed costs. You see, and you not need to know the total variable cost. And that's why Chinese are taking projects in Africa, because we don't estimate properly. Chinese are taking, they understand what are total variable cost, total fixed cost, what are the total cost, you understand? And what are the average variable costs? You see, what are the average variable costs? All these you need to identify when you are talking about the financial issues and other costs related. But for revenue, what will be the change in your revenue? So you need also to know the marginal revenue. And just like here, you need to know your marginal cost. So if you are talking of standard gauge projects like that, if you are talking of Mwalimu Nyerere dams construction, you must come up with those assumptions that will govern the project itself. Are we together?
Yes. Yes, sir.
We are together, Doctor.
Are we together? Yes, I can
Yes.
see.
Yes,
I can see.
we are together.
All right.
Of course, yes.
Yes, sir.
We are together.
I can see the time is running so fast. Yes. Apart from saying time is running so fast, let me also talk about the environmental. Oh, yes, financial and economic appraisal issues. So you. Hello? Hello? Okay. So you will talk about the financial issues. And within the financial issues, you must be able to know what is the total profit that will be generated. This means you will need to draw, after drawing your revenue, you will also draw your cost. Another thing that you will draw is your budget. So you need to know your budget. You will know your budget. If you know your budget, you can easily understand how much you will require. So your total spending will be determined right there. But again, when we look at the budget, when we look at the budget, as you doing the feasibility studies, once costs are known, revenue are known, cost in terms of total costing, total fixed cost, total variable cost, these are known very properly. Then it is high time for you to determine the revenue direction very properly and defined alongside with the duration of the project. But again, you will need to know what about the cash flow projections? How is that going to be the cash flow statement? So you will have the cash flow statements. You have that responsibility to define. This is the most complicated part. So it is about the finance. So finance is the lifeblood of your project. So don't mess around with this. It is where now you're going to make a decision on whether to run or not to run based on the cost, revenue, and the cash flow statement, the income statement, as I said, the budget, and also the statement of financial position. And this is the balance sheet. So you need to project your assets. You will need to project your liabilities. You will need to project your current asset. You will need to project your current liabilities. So that is the role of the project manager in projections. And apart from that, you'll be having your supporting documentations. But when it comes to environmental analysis, you'll have a chapter where you may not do it by yourself. You will need the other people to join. If it's a bigger project, as I said, you cannot do it by yourself. So you need a big team. So you will need to get other people who will assist you to carry out the environmental impact assessment, and these should be supported as part of the attachment. This is going to be part of the attachment. Just like the way we talk of architectural design and the other related will be attachment. Maybe the schedule of material, it will be attachment. The BOQ, it will be attachment. And all those kind of things that are alike related, it will be attachment. But the analysis, once you have those documentation at hand, you may get started in writing your feasibilities report. And once that one is known, then it is where you can resort to know now, should you accept or reject? So you use criteria to accept or reject. So you will appraise from profitability point of view. And here you will have a section to define the viability. Is it viable or not viable from that angle? And if it is viable, how welfare is going to be maximized at the end of the day. So you realize it is important for you to take note about that. Yes. Adriano Irongo. Adriano
Yes,
Irongo,
Doctor.
welcome.
Yes, Doctor.
I can see you raising up a hand.
Thank you for a good lecture.
All
but
right.
it comes around that the feasibility study, as you mentioned here, you really need an investment in or implementing it itself, because you need a lot of documentation to support the feasibility study itself.
Yes.
So I'm asking myself, who is going to fund the feasibility or all this preliminary documentation of the project?
Funding feasibility study, you need to request funding from the concept note. So make sure you include in the concept note that I will need, based on this concept, we expect to carry more analysis on feasibility study that relate to this dream you are talking about. Now, we would like you to, first of all, before we prepare write-ups for more information, we want you to fund the process of preparing the feasibility study. Remember, if it is construction, you'll be responsible. If you are constructing standard gauge, it means you will need structural design for standard gauge. Someone must do. You will need architectural design for standard gauge. You will need soil tests being conducted. You will need survey and so many things that you will be required. All these must be supported and you must hold on the table. You will need projections like the ones that we are talking right here. So you will find Chinese are smart on these things we are talking right here. Chinese are very smart in these things. So they know when it comes to analysis of the report, I will use this person, project manager are responsible. Of course, Chinese, most of the time when it comes to constructions, they spend almost 25% to use the technical person. But project manager are being spent 75%. 75% of the time is project management. 25% only require technique. If you know the secret of construction, you can do anything that you want. So Chinese are smart. And that's why when they come right here, they will still use us in project management because they have already surveyed the labor costs and how cheap it is. You'll find the Chinese, some Chinese are coming right here, are prisoners, but it's just like that. So they're smart in terms of making analysis about the projects and other supporting documents. But when you check for our engineers, their capability to articulate all these are very low. That's why you find they cannot compete outside the country. Even inside the country, it's very difficult for them to compete until they get excuse. Someone should speak for them, but they cannot be able to prepare a good report. So with this course, it positions you to prepare a good report based on the feasibility study that we think is going. Limo?
Thank
Limo.
you, sir.
Welcome, Limo.
Yeah, you were talking of major areas of the feasibility study.
Yes.
You talked of market issues, technical, environmental, etc.
Yes.
So what about the social issues? Because in recent years, I see a lot of people doing a SEER, social environmental impact assessment. Is it applicable in this case as well?
Oh, yes, it's very much applicable. It's very much applicable. Environmental impact assessment, I think you will have to capture right here. It's written right here, environmental impact assessment. So with these components, it's very important. If you are running a project that deals with the mining, or maybe you are doing constructions, construction, you must do environmental impact assessment. They see you must do. And you may use the experts to assist you because, as I said, you cannot do it each and everything by yourself. You must be smart. You are a manager. You need others to work in favor of you. So it is important. The social aspects must be analyzed fully to make sure you understand that how this project is going to be demanded from society point of view. What are the added value? Okay, what are the added value that we think? But there are other analyses might not be necessary at this time. You need to carry further for project proposal, for project appraisal. Project appraisal stage, you may find yourselves now coming up with a component of social appraisal, component of Any other component that you find it is important, you will have to carry much details regarding your analysis. So for social appraisal, it is also very important for you to include as one of the components for the analysis and so on. Yes, Limo, are we together?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
James Deusdedits. James Deusdedits.
Yes, doctor, thank you.
All right.
I would like to know, I don't know if I'm ahead of the lecture, but I just want to understand if I was to do the need assessment on the other hand, shall I go through the same major areas as we have discussed now, or?
No, the needs assessment we will talk. We will talk is going to be separate.
Okay.
And this is where now you can talk of the baseline survey. You will have to conduct the baseline survey, the needs assessment. Baseline survey can be part of it, but again, when you look at a feasibility study, the approach that you will use, it is survey. You will survey the market. You will survey the organizational needs. You will survey the technical needs. You will survey, you see, the language we are talking. But here it is, we are posing ourselves for viability, worthwhile. We can reject, we can accept if it is profitable. We may find we are neutral depending on the break-even points that we have. And this, we will refine the break-even point when we properly define the cost, revenue, and our projected financial statements, because everything will be projected. Or in here, for financial issues, we call them pro forma, because they are not actual, they are projected. The future is uncertain, but at least you need to project the future. What will be the future of your asset? What will be the future of your liabilities? What do you advise? And this is the one that we are talking about right here. Is that okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. There are others. You will need to look at the point of political appraisal. You can assess yourself politically. Can you run this project politically? So if you find it is dangerous for you to run based on the political interference, you must appraise, you must assess. Now, when you assess, you need to consult different people. Will tell you, my friend, if you do that project, you'll be contradicting with the politicians, and that may not be fair. So yourself, you'll have to stop, or you may decide to continue. Nyamizi Japhet.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes.
I wanted to ask about additional point about legal feasibility. If I want to access how the project meets the legal requirements, can I also add on to that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. The legal requirements. As I said, there are so many. When you talk of legal issues, it's just a component. You ask, what about the legal issues? You see, within the feasibility, are we legally to do the requirements for constructions? Yes, legally, we will be required to get building permits. We'll be required to, this is when you look at the legal. You'll be required to get building permits. You'll be required to do the soil test. You'll be required to do architectural design. You'll be required to do structural design, electricity design, water design, and so on and so on. You'll be required. So therefore, what about the legality of this one? Yes, it has been taken into consideration. What we will do, we will pay for registration of the project. We will pay for this. These are legal requirements for you to establish the project. So you can speak about that. All right, Sinto. Johanna. Unmute
Yes,
yourself,
sir.
unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Unmute yourself, Johanna.
Okay.
Yes, good now. Now good. Good. Yes, welcome, Johanna.
Thank you very much, sir. I want to add for some of few things, especially on the market issues.
Good.
For the world of today, I think the market intelligence is very important to be considered, especially when you are going to do analysis of your project, because of the competition and because sometimes in order to get information, you need to be very carefully because of the competition. But some of the places also are not ready because they know that if they provide the information, they will be overtaken sometimes. So I think with the issue of market is very sensitive, and it should be taken as market intelligence in perspective.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Market intelligence is necessary. And as I said, you are project manager. You must always position yourself as generals for project. The generals for the project, they must have intelligence on every aspect they are doing with regards to projects. So as Sinto has said, that emphasis is okay. That's an emphasis I appreciate for that addition. Now, I cannot call you Samsung. I said, register yourself with your full name. You are raising up a hand, but I cannot call you. Your friends, I'm calling their names. You, I cannot call you Samsung.
Thank you much.
Samsung. No, I'm not saying you should say. Why you have not registered yourself using your name? Okay. Mohammed Omar.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
I want to know, as you know that, sir, our economic status every day tends to fluctuate. So how do we consider economic factors like inflation? You know that inflation sometimes is a source for project to be failure. So how do we consider this so as to prevent the happening of project failure during the implementation?
Yes, very good. Inflation, most of the time, when you are doing your budget, what you will do is you will have contingency. You will have contingency in your budget. So when you set costs, you take allowance for contingency. Now, when you set contingency allowance, by itself will cater the problem of inflation. So this will be automatically addressed. Is that okay, Mohammed?
Yeah, thank you, sir, very much.
Right. Thank you. Mukasa. Yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to ask a question. I had the same question what has been asked by Mr. Mohammed and Lina. But to add, in addition to that,
yes,
I want to know whether the issues of risks are also did under the part of financial, production, technical organization, as well as the market. Can all the issues of pertaining to risk are
risk analysis? Yes, you need to identify this, but you should not confuse this with another stage of which is known as the project proposal or project appraisal or project write-ups. In the project write-ups, you will need more details being supported with your feasibility study. Are you with me? Now,
Yes,
it's where now you'll go in detail regarding the risk analysis, mitigation, and so on. But right here, you want to suggest whether to continue with the project or not to continue with the project. So there are some basic elements to which are important for you to consider during this stage of feasibility study. And the feasibility study, you are not supporting it to the bank to get funding. It's just giving you the benchmarking on whether the idea is worthwhile to continue or not worthwhile to continue. If it is worthwhile, then you need to continue, but you will continue with a special attention to secure funding, drawing the terms of reference. It's where now you will prepare a full-fledged proposal or write-ups suitable for funding, suitable to send it to the commercial banks, suitable to send it to the IMF and World Bank to secure funding. As general, you must know that. As general, you must know that. Is that okay?
That is okay. And issues, policy issues, where they deal with policy issues, regulatory,
oh, yes.
We them under the legal framework, or we do it separately of the policy issues?
Policy issues.
Yes.
Policy issues, you will have to make analysis during, yes, you will have to make analysis during the initial discussion. Concept notes, you'll have some policy issues have been taken into consideration and it is within, and now you have assessed. But if you have feasibility study, then you will support your feasibility study with a proper proposal, where now proposal will go deeper and spell out about legality, about policies, that it is within the policy, so we can support. So long as you know it is viable, you can make much analysis, and that will be a full proposal by itself. It will be a full proposal. But at this point, we just want to get some insight regarding whether we may draw a break or we may continue to allow full proposal to take place. Is that okay? Yes.
Okay.
We have discussed much of the idea. So I think we will discuss again on Monday. On Monday, we will start from there, and we will, should I give a weekend assignment to make your weekend very bad or to make your weekend very good? If we jump today, and then tomorrow we will again call for, okay, I will give you on Monday. This weekend, relax. On Monday, I will give you the assignment. Thank you very much, and enjoy your time today.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for knowing our commitment during the weekend.
I'm happy about you guys today. I'm so happy.
Thank you so much,
All right.
sir. Have a nice weekend.
I appreciate so much.
Good
Nice.
night, sir.
Good evening. Enjoy your weekend.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Safi. Je, nishaondoka.
Kirongo vipi? Kirongo vipi?
Watu wamerelax baada ya kuona profesa hajatoa assignment. Kalume, ulikuwa umeanza kukimbia Kalume.